There you go. Nice and live.
We are live.
Live, baby.
We timed that perfectly.
Golden.
Some might say.
Look at Jaro's anxiety is just bleeding through his fucking eyeballs right now.
You know, like there are some things I'm very, very loosey goosey, except when it comes time to go live.
You're prompt about time. It's the Merrimack Minute, and we're on the minute.
Yeah, we got stuck behind a slow group on the last couple holes. It threw us off a little bit.
This is the one thing where me and Coco are very much alike is for broadcasting. I don't care about much else, but like I'm a time guy when like things are. I'm a big time guy.
Yeah, I thought we would get that round of golf in less than 5 hours, but that didn't quite happen.
Yeah. That group, we caught them up like what, the 14th, 15th hole?
Yeah, they were going pretty slow.
It was terrible.
I mean, is what it is. But welcome everyone to the Merrimack Minute. We made it. Yep. I'm your host.
Whoa,
Jim the Prez. Not the only host. Wow, look at this guy.
Big flex.
But we got a lot to cover today. The first pod post draft. So welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. Along with me, my co-host who will be here every week with me, Colby Boulay, Coach of the Year, allegedly Coach of the Year. What's going on? What's going on, Colby?
Not much, buddy. I just had a tough day on the course. Lost by one. But happy to rebound here. Then that's what really matters. It's what really matters right here.
That's all that matters.
Cock of the Year, back in action.
Love it. With us, big boy J-Ro is going to be joining us from time to time. He was able to join us today. J-Ro, how we feeling?
Hey, I got a bucket full of Miller Lights. How you think I'm feeling? Let's get after it, boys.
You got a bucket? You were only supposed to be here for a minute.
Yeah. It's 5. It's 5 beers. That'll last me a minute.
Quick 5-pack.
And as you'll see on the screen here, we have our first special guest of the year, coach of sponsor as of today, right? VIP Tires. Is that what it is?
VIP Tires and Service. Shout out to Gooden, the great sponsor coming through last minute. Love it.
Coach.
That's a great sponsor.
Really can't thank them enough for that.
I said to him, I think it's awesome, having VIP across the front of the shirt. It's a good sponsor.
Be huge.
That does look strong on a shirt.
It does.
I hope I can get some discounts now. I've been going to them for years, so maybe I can get a little Merrimack discount going.
I said to him, I said we're making a strong push within the league this year to get people to use the sponsors and do things like that. So I think it would be beneficial. I was pretty pumped he came through with it.
That's
awesome. So as we talked about last week, we had the big draft this past Sunday. A lot to unpack from the draft. We're going to ask for Cooch's thoughts on his first draft here in a few moments, as 4-leg Wally over there is freaking out a little bit. But where we should start is probably we had a lot of requests for a live draft is what we had. And for those who might have been around the Pelham Fields on Sunday, or maybe have been checking in on Facebook the last few days, it should be very clear why we don't do a live draft. And that is because, we're all competitive. That's why we play in a draft softball league, and everybody gets very competitive about where they get drafted, who gets drafted before them, who's drafted after them, who they're traded for. So I think it's very clear why we choose not to do it. We're not trying to make it into a popularity contest, or we're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. But unfortunately, some of the draft results were leaked out to that field on Sunday. And I know I dealt with some backlash. I don't know about you guys, if you dealt with any backlash from where guys got drafted.
Jim, you were only in Pelham. This started, Colby and I swung by AJ's in Hudson for
15 minutes
before that, and we were getting peppered. Everybody already knew, if I drafted somebody, they already knew they were on my team. People asking, what round they went in. I shouldn't go that late. I get it. The live draft would. The comment section would be phenomenal.
I honestly can't stress enough how much of a disaster a live draft would have been. A total disaster. It's the same for me. It's the same reason I don't put batting averages and OBP on the website. This is not supposed to be about, pumping up the guys that are good and putting down the guys that might get drafted late. Because some of the guys that get drafted late, it's just because, they're new. We don't know who they are, or they might not have played much last year. It's not a personal thing. Team, you guys are all coaches. All of us are coaches here. You don't always take the best guy available or the guy that you are most friends with, right? It's all about what fits with your team, what your strategy is, what positions you need, what you're planning on drafting later on in the draft. So I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on kind of some of the backlash you heard and just overall what you guys thought about the draft.
Yeah. So I think one thing is like, hearing the, why didn't you take me here? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you take me in this round? And a lot of it, like you just said, is it just strategy. It's like, you got to look at the board and see how much is at what position. And when you look at it that way and break it down by your lineup, it's like, if I can save this pick and grab this guy now and know that I'm going to get, it might be lesser value here, but not incredibly terrible later on or anything like that, it's worth every second of grabbing the guy that you need in your lineup to defend to someone else in, the 3-4 or 4-5 or whatever it is, to take that guy.
I'm on the other end here. Listen, I've got a pocket full of shitty hot takes, and this is one of them. I think a live draft would be great. You know what? We're all grown ass men. Get over your fucking egos and let's have some fun with it. I think it would be amazing. Like, set up, have a couple guys, that aren't coaches or aren't on the board or co-ed apparently because there was a draft. And have them set up maybe downstairs or outside or somewhere else and have them go live and kind of give, maybe not pick by pick, but let's kind of look at who's going where and maybe a little intel on why people potentially are drafting this way. Hey, listen, Pavel Datsyuk went in the 7th round. It doesn't matter where you get drafted. It matters at the end of the year, end of your career.
Well, I do like the idea of like, if you were to like be live from like Karima's front yard, being like, this guy just got drafted and it was like, the 5th round or whatever. And then like, a little quick, like, oh my God, this guy just went. And then you guys went on an excerpt about that. That'd be cool. But like pick by pick, it would get ugly. I agree with Jim there.
So I don't know. First of all, Pavel Datsyuk reference in a draft. We live where Tom Brady was from, J. Row. We're going to go Pavel Datsyuk.
I don't fucking blow him like everybody else does around here.
But I mean, myself personally, I mean, this might come off as a little cold, but I don't really care about your feelings and other people's feelings, I guess. But I think a live draft would be electric.
So we're split here. We're split.
Yeah,
we're half and half.
Maybe something we consider down the road. I mean,
board members and coaches. There's two different.
Let's be serious here. Most of the people kind of know where they got drafted, or I mean, you can kind of look at your roster and kind of even like figure it out that way.
I know last year my guys figured it out just based upon how I texted everybody in the group chat. They're like, all right, I fell this way, I guess.
They're like, why was I the last one added to this group?
Yeah, I guess my take on it might be a little selfish because for you guys, you don't have to deal with the fallout of that. I got to deal with the fallout of like, I mean, you guys might hear it a little bit from a guy here or there, but like if next year we get to the point where it's like, oh, well, this guy was pissed all year because he figured out he got drafted in the 17th round and now he's not coming back to play. Like that sucks.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it's not on you. It's on 9 other coaches that didn't take that person in said round, I guess. I mean,
but I think that also falls a lot into the aspect of like the guys in the middle rounds that are getting upset about where they went 5, 6, 4, whatever. And when realistically, it's like they don't understand that you have to respect a 17 to 18 man roster. So like you need to put together a team that's respectable no matter what. Like bottom to top. So it's not just about grabbing that 1 or 2 guys. It's about, It's about like putting together like 1 through 10 starting lineup that's gonna compete.
Yeah. J-Ro, I love the bottom line stuff here. I just watched last week's episode yesterday, and
Thanks for catching up.
I was laughing pretty hard at the Cooch's Ubering.
Gotta tell you, we didn't have a guy this year in the draft room that was shit faced though. So you know, it broke the streak. That was unfortunate. Yeah. A lot of money was on you.
Me and Kobe held it together pretty well. We turned it into a pretty long night after that, but we held together during the draft. We were pretty good.
Proud of you.
Very good.
I'm seeing some of these comments. Like, I agree with maybe we do like live reveals of the rosters, but I don't like going pick by pick because, again, it just gets to the point where we're gonna have to hear about it the rest of the year, and that sucks. And like, I don't mean to call D Money out here, but like, I understand why a guy like him wants the draft to be live because he goes first overall every single time, right? Like a guy that goes in the 15th round, he probably doesn't want the draft results to be live because then he's sitting around watching and being like that's going to make people feel bad. Like that sucks. Like that's not what we're in the business of doing.
I get it. I get what you're saying. I for publicity wise and like fun wise, it would be funny, but I get what you're saying too.
You tell me we're not going to fucking have to listen to Belrose all year though.
No, we are, but like,
all right, J-Ro dropped the bomb.
Yeah, J-Ro is the one that broke the seal on dropping names here. But
I mean, like, Jesus, look at him in the group chat or in the Facebook page. You don't have to look far to figure out Belrose is a full-on salt block right now.
Right, but like for me, like if he didn't know who got taken before him, like necessarily, we wouldn't be dealing with this nearly as bad.
Yeah, but he'd be able to figure that out real quick.
Yes and no, because there's so many trades, and that's the other part of the live draft results.
Yep.
Some of these picks are actually getting traded. Like, Cooch, you had a trade before the draft. So some of the guys that you took, if we're just doing the live draft results, they're like, oh my God, Cooch like took this guy. Why the hell would he take him? When it's like that's an already agreed upon trade. So it's not a totally accurate depiction of like what's actually happening.
Agreed. I mean, I had the pick before Belrose went. So
and you decided to trade it. Real nice, good friend.
Yeah, if he had ever seen that, he'd think that I drafted that person over him. When I mean, guys, we all know me. I'm a Ville guy. I take all my little guys.
Oh, right.
It's gonna be an interesting weekend down in Taunton.
You should buy a fucking Yukon because you're gonna need to get help.
When I was putting Cooch's roster, when I was putting the rosters together with the phone numbers, I was shocked at how many 603 numbers Cooch had. I was expecting like strictly 978.
Yeah, Jim, that's something I also got an issue with. I get the phone numbers, and we have a lot of phone numbers that don't even have an area code in front of it.
That's a 603. That's a 603.
What's going on here? I mean, Jesus. Half the league's from Lowell now.
No, I mean, not half the league, but
it's maybe a quarter now.
But so I agree. There might be something that can be done in terms of live updates of the draft as it's going. But all I know is this year was a disaster in terms of like the messages I was getting. I would text guys and be like, hey man, I drafted you. And they'd be like, yeah, but I heard you took this guy over me, or what round did you take me in? And it's like, nobody appreciates the fact anymore that I drafted them. It's what round was I in? Like,
oh man. Yeah. I texted Jose Torres and I texted him and said, hey, I drafted you. And then I show up to Pelham and he goes, heard you tried to trade me already. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. It's a fine
line.
News
travels like fucking wildfire. It's quick.
Yeah, it does.
I'm blaming KP for that one, but we can proceed.
Yeah. So, Cooch, let's move on. For your first draft ever, what were your thoughts on the draft? Did it meet your expectations? Was it different than you were expecting?
The way it went was a little, once we do all these mocks a week or two coming up to it. First of all, I mean, I can't say enough the way that it's like run in the way it's really smooth. The signups, like the rules are very like laid out. Like if you don't show up for the tryout, you cannot play, period. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, I like the way that you do that. I had a blast. Like, I mean, God, we spent 1 hour one night mock drafting from like the night of the national championship for college basketball. We mock draft from like 7 o'clock until like 1 o'clock.
Like, yeah, I caught like the last 5 minutes of that game. That was it. We mock drafted during like that whole game.
And then Mitch got it 20 minutes later.
My fiance woke up in the morning and like went downstairs and like looked in the trash, and she was like, "You had 11 beers. You were on a Zoom call."
Oops.
And like to touch on the mocks, like usually the mocks are a lot more useful than they were this year, with it being one draft. And I think we might have mentioned this last week too. I was catching shit 2 weeks ago being like, Jim, what's going on? We usually doing mock drafts by now. Like, what's going on? And I was saying to them, it is pointless for us to do mock drafts.
Dude,
and
the mocks were out the window by the 3rd or 4th pick.
Did we waste a shit ton of time or what on those mock drafts?
Completely. My draft looked nothing like it. Any of my mocks were.
And you guys were giving me just fucking shit up on shit when we were doing the mock drafts, and I would just say,
you were part of the problem. That's part of why.
I'm fine with I'm happy with my draft. I was fine with it.
Well, it was easy for J-Ro because J-Ro kept everybody in limbo but his keepers, and then he'd also like sit. You guys said this last week. He'd sit in the draft room on the mocks and not say anything.
Yeah, he would just kind of just hang out in the shadows and just try to figure stuff out. But there's no way that helped you. You just threw a wrench in everything, J-Ro, with with the trades and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I didn't have a plan until I had a plan. So like,
I think where we started to see everything just turn like crazy was as soon as Dearborn took Amadeus in the 2nd round, which like, not saying bad pick, just not anything that any of us
were expecting.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy
everyone's eyes were like,
it's actually crazy that we actually got like maybe 1 or 2 picks right in the first 5 rounds, but like we nailed some of like the 7th, 8th, 9th round picks.
5 and 6 was usually nailed.
Yeah, we nailed a few of those ones. That's where the teams are getting their guys. You know what I mean? A lot of the returning guys. Yeah, we nailed that one.
Dulude was perfect.
We nailed Dulude for sure. I think I'm trying to think if there was any other ones that we got on that. But yeah, for the most part, the mocks were useless. I would say 99% useless.
Yeah, especially given some of the trades. I mean, you guys had me taking Woj in every single mock, but you didn't really know that I didn't even have that pick.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's the things that we didn't account for because we didn't know what the trades were, and trades were being made, frankly, based on the mocks, which I think is kind of a dangerous game there, because when things go off the rails, which they did about, I don't know, 5 minutes into the draft, they went off the rails. Yep. Then it's like, oh boy, I already agreed to this trade. I kind of stick with it and make the best of it now.
Yeah. Dustin just made a comment in the chat that has been something that I've been saying since the draft, and it's spot on. If you're going to complain about where you go, then you should try coaching a team and give everybody, the promises that you promise, because it's just never going to happen.
You're never going to be able to get.
I had to make sure that was starred.
Yeah,
that's spot on. You just can't do it.
I'm way past the point now of telling guys before the season, like, yeah, man, I'm going to get you, because there's no guarantees. And it's like, then you find yourself telling 15 different guys that you're going to get them. And it's like, well, that's impossible. Like, there's just no way that you can get all your guys.
Oh, I love the Dearborn. Dearborn, I have it out for Dearborn like the entire
Dearborn season. Goes off the board.
I'm telling you, I'm coming for him. Like, I don't care. Whatever way I can make his life more difficult, I'm doing it.
I love that we have two new coaches already, a fresh rivalry.
Sorry, you shouldn't sponsor.
But yeah, Coach and Dearborn is the new rivalry for in MMS.
I'm telling you, man, it's just,
I love it. Not even a pitch thrown yet, and we've already got our first heated rivalry.
Nobody has jerseys yet.
What made the draft so cool was like the trades coming up to it, and like it was so hard to actually make a trade because you didn't know who was getting kept and like what was going on. Like, I mean, some of the things I had going with Mitch, like, as far as like me, I don't think it's any secret.
Whoa.
Me getting TB.
Just hold on. Trying to deal with Mitch to begin with on a trade is it gets it's like trying to understand War and Peace
Well,
it gets very difficult very
Someone
quickly.
explained trading with Mitch today as oil and water, and it's just damn near impossible.
But you look at it, it's like, all right, so I get this pick in the 3rd round. It's probably going to be 7. It could be 8 if J-Ro keeps this guy. It could be 9. I'm like, he's like, it was challenging, but
these highlights are killer.
But Mitch was wheeling and dealing. I mean, he was able to get the number 1 guy in the draft based on what he was trying to do.
It's crazy because every year, like I think last year we had right after the draft, there was like 13 trades or something like that. Usually every year there's at least 10 plus trades right after the draft. And there was a lot of wheeling and dealing that went on before the draft this year, but there's only 5 trades total.
There's usually more than what there was this year.
There's usually way more. Yeah.
I got to respect J-Ro because J-Ro, when it comes to wheeling and dealing, he just texts me and he says, hey, what did you offer for the first pick?
J-Ro cuts through the bullshit.
And I just straight up told him too. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, I'm so stupid. I'm telling J-Ro my offer.
No, but so like you told me your offer. I didn't go around and tell Jim your offer or Boulay. What you tell me, like this is how I operate. And until I get fucked, which that'll happen next year. Until somebody screws me over, I'm very easy to deal with because I'll tell you straight up, hey, I'll do this, I'll do that. This is what I'm looking for. What are you looking for? And I can help you out. But then when something doesn't go, when there is, when it becomes a little more difficult, that's when I become very hard to deal with. But like I told you, I wanted X or wanted Y. What is it going to take to get there? This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm hearing. This is what I want. So, well, if you're not going to do it that way, but once you start kind of getting the rumor mill going, that's when I start shutting down shop a little bit.
You can tell J-Ro has worked in like front office, like at sport front office type of stuff before. With the way he approaches the trades and the draft and just some of the questions he asks where they're like, he's asking you a question, but you can tell that he's really asking you a different question. You know what I mean? Like,
I love that shit. I love wheeling and dealing. I mean, it's no secret. Everybody was trying to get that first pick.
Yeah, everyone wanted the first pick. I don't think anyone expected that first pick to get like the way that shook out.
Well, no, considering what I offered.
Right. But all right, we're 25 minutes in here. We want to make sure that we're going to take a look through the rosters. We're going to go through all 4 of us. We're going to give our power rankings, our preseason power rankings, our top 5 teams each, and then we're also going to go with a bold prediction from each of us. So we're going to just really quick breeze through the rosters here. Everyone the 4 of us just yell something out if you see something that you think is interesting or an interesting fit. I know I have some thoughts on some of the combinations on some of these teams. So let's go ahead. I guess we're going to start here with my squad.
You're on the hot seat.
The Buckley Disposal roster here. So one thing you're going to notice is I might have the most combined MMSL seasons on my team. I got a lot of vets that have played in Merrimack for a long time. But again, we're not going to read through every name here. But here's what the Buckley Disposal roster is looking like. Anything that sticks out to you guys?
You might have the oldest team in the league.
I don't know about oldest.
I mean, you got Martinoli and Senior. You got a lot of you've got the most veteran team, and then you got a lot of Venuti. Venuti's like your baby, and he's not even that young.
And Talbot's pretty young too.
That's true.
No, I mean, talking about from MMSL experience though, Venuti's brand new.
Right. I only have this is another thing that you're going to see, and it's what makes judging some of these rosters difficult is the way that we did one draft this year. Some teams my team only has 2 new players. Some teams have 8 or 9 new players.
Yeah, I think I only have 2 also.
Yeah, so I only have 2. You'll see them here, Jake Venuti and John Maxon. But I think it's pretty clear the big question mark for Buckley Disposal is pitching. And if Hartson's going to be there enough to pitch, because that's going to be kind of the X factor in my eyes. But I don't know what you guys think.
Shows up though. I think like he made it clear he shows up for certain people, which is annoying, but it is what it is. People have that right to do that.
Yeah.
I talked to Hartson before the draft because he was definitely on our radar. And he's pretty damn straightforward too. He said, I know my son's baseball schedule until X date. And then after that, not sure what All-Stars are going to look like. So it is a wild card where it could end up being like last year where he shows up for 20 games, or he shows up and maybe makes playoffs, or maybe misses.
Jim, does Teddy usually play the outfield?
Yes. Yep. Teddy will mostly play the outfield.
You guys got a pretty good outfield. You and Teddy and Eddie.
Yeah, I think we got good depth in both infield, outfield. Probably pitching is the one that we have the least depth. But I mean, with 17, 18-man rosters, there's a lot of teams that have a lot of depth this year. So
yeah,
I think I'm excited to see how you and Teddy, like especially like age-wise and everything, work with Venuti in the league, find a spot for him, like seeing him at BP, etc. Like I think that's gonna be fun, especially for a young kid to like be with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the roster, we have 13, 14 guys that I think are going to make almost every single game, which can be good and it can be bad. It's all going to depend on how I, as the coach, manage that and manage expectations. And, Teddy and I are going to probably have to do some cycling through the outfield and EH and mix guys in and out at catcher. Because, the regular season is all about getting guys innings in the field where they want to play, try spots that they want to try out. So, yeah, I like my draft. I feel good about it. It might not be the flashiest draft because of the lack of new players, but I feel good about what we ended up with.
Yeah, my guy Hamill, I need him back.
Hamill's kind of been a hot commodity, but
yeah, I'm gonna need that back.
And that's another thing to note for everybody. So
taking my basketball and I'm going home.
Yeah, we mentioned that there's only been 6 trades now so far. The trade deadline is the midway point of the season. So that puts us somewhere middle to end of June. So these rosters that we're going to go through today are without a doubt subject to change.
Yeah. I mean, some teams are going to, again, Jim, you mentioned you don't have a ton of pitching depth. I myself don't have a ton of infield depth, so something like that,
that's because you guys stink.
Who, us, Kobe?
He's just trying to stir the pot. And
I know
we can't see his face right now.
Hey.
Let's move on. VFW. Probably the team that started with the best keeper group. I don't think anybody's going to argue that.
Tough to beat.
What do you guys think about this VFW roster?
I mean, when you start with 4 guys like that, you're putting yourself in a pretty good spot.
I think the strongest part about them is that they have 2 good starting, like obviously the 4 are great, but 2 strong starting outfielders they have, and they can wait so long in the draft to like go grab that 3rd final outfielder if they want to play a 5-man is huge, because infield for MMSL, like when you saw the draft, it was like trying to find a solid infielder was pretty thin.
Yeah,
so that was a benefit.
And thinking about the new players, right? There might have been, I think there was something like 44 or 45 new players this year. I want to say like 35 of them were outfielders. There was a lot of outfielders.
It was crazy.
So everybody said they were an outfielder.
Be like, you're not an outfielder. They were like, yeah, no, I'm an outfielder. It's like, okay. Go ahead.
Looking at this roster just based off somebody, Greg Francis is going to be a good pickup for them. I think they got a good value with Greg there. I
do too. I totally agree with that one.
Greg can hit the hell out of the ball. And, you get Kenny out there too. You already have Benny and Gallo. They got a good team.
That's a good trade they just did there. That one pulled off this week was, getting Kenny late, and that's definitely going to help them out for sure.
Plays a great outfield.
Their outfield's great.
I forgot about Josh Moore too. Like, I mean,
you start off with, you start off your keepers are Gallo and Benny Call. You start off with 2 of, the best players in the league. You're in pretty good spots.
I didn't even think of that. They got Josh, Sean, and they got Leighton in the outfield now. I mean, that's
a solid 3-man outfield right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and again, Greg can play the outfield. Greg can play first base. They get a good team. They're going to be looking good.
Yep, I agree. All right, moving on. Monahan, the defending champions. What sticks out to you for this draft?
Then they took Huey from me.
Huey is actually starting the year on the DL.
Oh, damn.
Breaking news.
So they got two DLers, huh? They got Longy and Huey.
Yep, they do. They do.
Damn.
So they're down to 16.
Is that Huey okay, or
Huey's getting some surgery, but we're hoping that he'll be back. You know, he's a guy that's been in the league for a long time. Great guy in the league. So
I mean, they brought back a lot of that team from last year, right? They had a pretty good core. They lost George. If you've been paying attention on the Facebook page, you know, he's been crying a little bit about the breakup note he received.
Not upset at all. It's just
but you know, I think TA's built this team back to, you know, how TA has said how he likes his teams, you know, disciplined at the plate, a lot of guys that can play positions and be, you know, sound, and just, you know, overall just a good group of guys, I guess you can say, you know, good teammates. And, you know, you look at last year, they kind of caught fire halfway through the year. And I mean, we all know how that ended up with them winning. And hey, look at that. Hudon's got his buddy there, Trabuco.
Hudon's got all of his buddies.
That's it.
Yeah, legit.
Like I don't know what Hudon's wedding plans are, but I imagine his entire wedding party is on his team.
You think they're just wearing softball hats?
They might just go right in the baby blues. They might have everybody wear the baby blues at the wedding.
They wanted Trabuco. That's
yeah. I mean, I'll never question TA, but that Trabuco trade's a little weird.
I was gonna say, like, on paper, that trade doesn't look great for them, but you can't doubt TA. The second that anybody starts doubting TA is when they become the championship favorites.
My question is, who gets booted next year for Trabuco if he's a keeper?
Oh, good question.
Stir the pot now, right? Who's going to be on the fucking cutting block?
That is a tough one. That is a tough one, but I think that's a cross that bridge when you get there type of situation.
All right. It's a tough bridge to cross.
Get rid of Billy.
Toss him. Cut him.
Yeah, pull him off the roster.
He looks better than A&D Blue anyways.
Pull him right off the roster. All right, let's move on.
Pull him. Got it.
Got him. Let's move on. Peterson Painting. So J-Ro, now that the mock drafts are over, you can actually, you know, give us some takes and tell us the truth here. How are you feeling about your draft and Colby and Cooch? What do you guys think?
You know, personally, I'm very happy with my draft. You know, I took some flyers on some new guys, but the new guys I did take, I know are, you know, very good athletes. They do come around a lot, so it's not like I'm worried about the commitment. You know, when I saw Tyler McCartney at the tryout on Wednesday night, I said, "Oh shit, I didn't put 2 and 2 together." So that was a great grab for us. I think we're in the same spot as we were last year, right? We don't have that high. Huh?
Who is Tyler McCartney?
He's he pitched at Vanderbilt. He moved up here.
No big deal.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Moved up here about 2 years ago. You know, he's still pretty new in the area, but he's a guy I got to know. Yeah, guy I got to know over the last couple of years, and didn't recognize the last name until, you know, when I saw him at the trial. And I was open. I told everybody about him, but no, we're in the same spot as last year. I don't think we have the high end talent like the other teams do, but I think we are extremely deep, and I've got a lot of athletes on this team. So my draft plan, or our draft plan with Hilly and I going into this, we pretty much hit it, to be honest with you. And that draft plan came together on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
That's earlier than most teams, actually. But no, I think this is the first roster that we look at that is really, really hard to gauge how good or bad they might be because of the number of new players that you have on the team.
It could work out very well, or it could work out very poor. You're exactly right. You know, the new players, I see why some coaches go away from it. I do know a lot of these new players, you know, over the last, you know, 2 years, but like, you know, I know Silas, I know Brian Borelli, you know, Kerstead and Feeney are just softball whores as well. So, you know, these types of guys, the new players I did take, I know in the sense of, I know these guys are whores, which is perfect. So I want whores. I like a dirty whore. What can I say?
I agree with you, right? I don't know what direction your team. honestly, I can't. You could be at the very top, the top of the league, or you could be at the bottom of the league. I don't know.
I think that goes for a lot of teams.
I know. I just like it's different because he has just so many newer guys that we don't know much about. I heard great things about Silas at the Laporte tournament the other day.
I heard he hit a ball off Flanders that still hasn't landed. So
I just heard he was great defensively too. So that could be a really good pick. But no, I mean it's good with like even like Kevin and Josh, like they're both like versatile. You can kind of put them in the infield, outfield, wherever you need them. I think that's awesome to have on a team.
I think too, like where like at some point we're gonna move into NHI where that idiot V took like a shitload of new players because he doesn't know any of the returning players.
He is in the comments here, so.
Oh yeah, I know. I see him. That's why I made the comment.
Job's getting cut.
But with that being said, like the momentum can go in either direction. Like those players can like completely starstrike people or not, but also it gives them so much more to play for. Like, like when you're a new guy, like you have something to prove no matter what. I think it's like exciting for them, and I think that's good.
Gonna make some tough decisions come late in the year, which is great.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why it's good that we play 27 games. You get plenty of chances to see, guys play in different positions and who's okay with coming out of games and who's going to give you a hard time and how you can manage that. So that's definitely a benefit of a long season. Wow. Moving on to make sure we get through all these.
He's going to comment and be like, I'm going to snap you in half.
This is VIP Tires and Service.
Yep, this is the new VIP Tires and Service team. So this was Cooch's first draft. What do we think about this draft, boys?
I mean, listen, Cooch, first draft, he did a good job. You did a good job. I think this, I don't give a fuck. I'll say it. I didn't love your trade.
There was two trades.
Yeah, well, I know the first one. The second one I didn't love. I liked the first one. I didn't love the second one. I think you getting Graham and TB with that picks. I think that's a lot of value. And Jose and Jano, I didn't love that trade as much, but that's not for me to say. And see what happens this year.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that trade a lot.
Both trades are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the first one better than the second one.
I'll be honest with you. I had picks 4 and 7, and again, they could have been 6 and 9. We didn't know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I made that trade before, and again, I mean, I don't need to toot TB's horn. He's one of the best hitters in the league, and Zach's versatile. But then when it came to the Trabuco and that situation there, I mean, I basically was like, there was like 4 or 5 guys that I really wanted at that spot, and I was like, I can get one of them, or I can get 2 of them if I trade it back.
Yeah.
So I think
Jose
and Jano, are great players.
I think trading 2 late 20s picks for 1 early 20 pick is a no-brainer in my opinion. I would do that too.
It was like 16 and 36 for 22 and 25.
Yeah.
I mean, those picks were absolute value.
And the danger of making some of those picks sometimes when you're the one moving up and taking a late round pick in return, is you really have no idea who's going to be left there. You can get to that pick and it's like, wow, on paper, this trade's not going to look great, but based on the pick values, the trade made sense. But once there's actually names attached to those, it might not look as good, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. That's the biggest piece. And that's why, the value that I don't look, and this is, I guess, where I get looking at the actual players and not knowing what the picks were at the time. Like Colby, as soon as you said it was pick this for this and this, listen, that's huge value to me. And I'm all about the pick value as opposed to the players that come in that, because we've seen it. You can do whatever you want with those picks, but I look at the value of each pick as opposed to the players that
like
you choose.
I would rather take 2 275s in the mid round than 180 earlier on in that round. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Are we going Madden rankings here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm
a big franchise player.
Okay.
I love the pitcher pick though. Like Poisson to me, I think he's extremely underrated. I think he's a good pitcher. Good that stupid fucking church league backspinner he throws.
Yeah.
He's there every game for you. He's a tough son of a bitch, and him and I love to have fun.
Yeah.
At first.
Poison was pretty much the pitcher that I targeted all along, strictly because I think I have the worst batting average against him.
Yep.
And the kid's crazy.
He's the kind of guy that like hopes to get hit. Hopes that he gets hit up the middle. It honestly makes him play better. So
I just, the way I kind of drafted my team, and I don't know a ton of the league guys.
Yep.
So I was going to pick more of the tournament guys that I know.
Sure.
So like I know Haskins from tournaments and things like that. And,
shut up. You know Haskins because of Sam and her snacks.
Yeah. Okay. You didn't let me get there.
I'm grandfathered into that, by the way. Grandfathered into those snacks.
Yeah.
Just a fact.
I'm happy the way I think we might not be as top heavy maybe as other teams. I think we get good balance. And I think we get good versatility.
Cody's definitely not top heavy.
I think you don't want to be top heavy, honestly, especially not this year. You want to be deeper. But I think Cooch, in my opinion, I think you did a great job considering you basically started with nothing. You had three of the first 7 picks.
Yeah, and no offense to the regional guy. No offense to anybody on regional that didn't get kept from last year. It was just the way the keepers work. I mean, I had to basically decide keep somebody or get the second pick in the draft.
Right. And again, you weren't on regional last year, so it's not like you have any, loyalty to any of those guys. And it's when you come in as a new coach that's never coached before, it's better to start with a clean slate. I feel like.
I agree. Dearborn and I both did the same thing, and
yep.
I knew I wanted Cody with that pick anyways, and Cody helped me, with the draft a little bit. And
what a waste!
How?
Hey, that's my guy. Now I got to play with him all week, and I play with him on the weekends now. And then I watched him do like some ridiculous slide into home plate at the charity tournament.
I saw that too,
where he almost got hurt, and I had to pull him aside. I'm like, Cody, I don't just use you on the weekends now. Like I need you to
investment. It's a co-ed tournament. It's his World Series. Of course,
I was there for maybe an hour, and within 5 minutes of each other, I saw Cody slide into home and get hurt, and then I saw TB slide into third, and I'm like, "What is going on right now? Like this is a Sunday night. It's 35 degrees, and guys are sliding out here."
And then you saw Cooch's brain melting, watching all of it happen.
Yeah.
And then we saw J-Ro get hosed at second when he was saved by about a dozen feet. But that
fucking Ralph.
Hey, we're not here to bash on umpires, okay? We'll bring you to the board.
But
anyways, Ralph, that call sucked.
we got to keep moving here because we got 5 more teams to go through, and then we still got to do some rankings.
We're flying here. Holy
shit! We need to keep moving. But
I think it's gonna kill me if she shows up and I'm still on here.
Cooch, I think you did great. I think overall, I think you made good trades. Sometimes it's hard to come in and not try to get too fancy and try to make just too many trades. I think you did a good job.
Thank you.
Moving on to Dearborn. So this was the team with the first overall pick. What do you guys think here? Except Cooch, I don't want to know what you think. I know what you think already.
Keep your thoughts to yourself, dude.
I'm gonna put myself on mute for a few minutes.
I think after all the mocks and everything, Dearborn controlled the draft, and it just absolutely did not go in the direction that any of us thought it would.
Correct.
Not to say anything about these players, it just kind of doesn't have any identity, I guess, to it. The trades made were confusing, the picks were confusing. I think in the end, he's gonna be able to rally these guys because they're his guys to make plays and to do what he wants. But in the draft room, it was definitely puzzling to see where his brain was going to put this all together.
I mean, I think he punted it. I don't. I was shocked at the position he was sitting in. Nothing against these guys, but I'm just surprised where he ended up at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has talent in random spurt areas, and then it's I don't know. I kind of can't see it all fitting, but maybe that's my hot take. because I could definitely see Dearborn's the type of guy, like he has a good personality and where people are going to be like, I want to play for this guy, which is a no brainer. So putting them in certain positions, they're going to want to play for it. And that is what it is. Yep. It's just right now I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't know what the hell he was doing in there.
Yeah.
I would love to play for Dearborn, but
exactly.
He's a good dude. Andy Hill's a serious grudge.
Love that.
I just saw A&D. What was that?
Just real quick, I didn't realize that Rusin and Gio were actually on the same team.
Oh yeah,
yeah, yep. But Gio and so Rusin can play shortstop and Gio can play middle and second base. So
he can play some outfield.
Yeah. Play outfield.
I think one thing I will say about
better pitchers in the league.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about Dearborn's draft that I absolutely approved, with him being at the snake end, so he had back-to-back picks. He was always ready with his picks.
Yeah,
he might have spent an average of 15 seconds to make from when he was on the clock to when his 2 picks were made. Not everybody was like that, but I appreciated him like being, decisive and actually making his picks.
Maybe you should have thought more.
No, you know what? Because here's the thing, and that, like, even when it got to me, the regardless, and I was sitting at 8, and then I'd have a 4-pick break on the snake end. I had probably a bucket of like 4 to 5 guys we were looking at, and once we got there, you have to make the decision depending if those guys are taken or not. Listen, if I'm at the snake end, you have the same bucket. It's just way easier. The problem is how far do you want to reach for some guys, and do you think you can get there? And
yeah,
sitting at the bookends, you can do that.
I was told, being on the end, there was times where I had people in my bucket that I was like, bang, lined up, and then literally in the first, in those last 2 picks right before me, were gone right in front of me. So I was like, oh fuck. Right. Well, do I want to pull the trigger on this guy, or who am I doing that to? You know what I mean? So to that reaching point, it's like, who am I actually going to do that for? And then, but
just to be real quick on this, I'm very interested to see how Kevin Harris does this year. I think he's going to do really, really well.
I think he's going to do really well too,
and be one of the better players in the league. I was really impressed with him last year in fall ball.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think him and Snacks, they play.
Snacks, Amadeus, crushed fall ball.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys that. Amadeus led fall ball in average. I think Kevin might have been second in average.
He absolutely raked last year in fall ball. It was, and I didn't know when I drafted him. I didn't even know who he was. Nobody knew.
Yeah, this is one of those teams that, again, it might not jump off the page at you when you're looking at it, but I could easily see this team, being in the top half of the league and surprising some people over the course of the year.
Jero, you see Ralph in the comments?
I think Jero had to step away for a second.
No, I'm here. Yeah, I did. I did see that. Yeah.
Absolutely horrible call. I agree.
I don't blame Ralph at that point for anything close.
Ralph was great. He said, I had Gio on the bases. I went to pick up the bat and forgot I didn't have anybody on the bases. And next thing I know, you were at second.
It's Sunday night at 7:30, and there's still 2 more games to be played. If it's close, call them out.
See you later.
Fuck you. I went to second. Call me second.
All right, moving on. A&D Plumbing. So the team that finished in first in the regular season last year. That was at the back end of the draft this year. I think this is probably most people's favorite draft from what I'm hearing. What do you guys think?
Fuck Kobe, but they just. He was able to get 3 of his really good outfielders in the later rounds. And he already had most of his. He did a really good job.
I think the biggest takeaway that everyone should be thinking now is he has Joey Holmes, so he's going to make the championship game at the very least.
At the very least,
he'll be in the championship game. So, Colby, what do you think?
That's a no-brainer. Come on.
What do you think about your draft as a whole?
No, what happened? For me, again, the whole turn on Dearborn. Dearborn controlled the draft, and the way that Laporte ended up falling to me was huge. My number one goal was knowing that I had Dustin in the middle of the lineup, and Danny for the top of the lineup would be. I want something to kind of defend the 2 of them, and so that worked out well. There is power throughout the league, but in the draft there wasn't a ton of power to work with, and I wanted to be able to like have like that batter to either be in front of or behind Dustin, and Laporte kind of defends that stance. And then like defensively, things just fell into place with the outfielders that I needed and a couple new players that I grabbed for infield. And I mean, Danny can play wherever the hell I want, so that works out. I'm excited to see where these guys go.
Yeah, I think you did a really good job. You got great value at the beginning of the draft and towards the end of the draft. I think, to me, the pick that was most impressive to me was Mike Rich. I think that was a guy last year that would have been in like the rookie of the year hunt if we had that.
I grabbed him like right in the middle of the draft, and
I was taking him in the exact round that you took him. So that was, you got him a couple picks in front of me. That was a good pick.
Yeah,
I think the HUD pick has value.
Yeah,
I think the Mike Rich pick is great. And honestly, I think the Schultze pick was a very good pick as well.
I agree.
I think you did very well. I think some people might overlook your roster a little bit, but I think when HUD comes back, I think this is a team that he'll come back quickly for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody's over.
I'm excited for Tord and Wentworth.
I was just gonna say that, like, my boy fucking Tord, is he gonna get some playing time this year or what?
Dude, so I was hitting BP the other day and Tord showed up and shirtless as ever. Just showed up, started pitching, hitting. Dude, the kid's hitting bombs now. Like,
love him.
He's ready to go. He's like top heavy on the ball, line drives, and home runs, and that's all he wants. And I'm okay with that.
I think along the same lines of why you love Tucker, I think is why you're going to love Dugas. I love
Dugas
softball.
already. Yeah,
he loves softball. He's a guy I grew up with in Merrimack. He loved it last year. I know he's psyched about this year. He's helped us out a ton with the fields and stuff last year. I think him and Tord are going to be great kind of utility guys for you this year.
He was already talking to me saying that he's working all fields and stuff, and it's like cool to like text somebody and say, I'm excited for the season. I'm excited to have you. And he's saying, I've already been working on this, and this. Like, that's exciting. Like it's league, but it's like we know how competitive we all are, and like for him to already be working at something, it's cool. I can't wait to be out there with him.
I agree. All right, 3 more teams here before we get into the rest of our stuff. New Hampshire Irrigation. So this is going to be the part where I only know 5 of these guys, I feel like, but they have.
We can comment on Lee.
Which one? We got all the Lees here. The only one they're missing is Josh Lee, and I made the joke that Joey would have taken Lee Harvey Oswald if he could. But what do you guys think about this draft?
Quick reference here. I get a lot of flack for taking all the Lola guys. We got Daly, T.I., Cam Latta, Bones, CJ. You got Cigarette CJ.
Oh, he stole him the pick before me, man.
He's got 5 Lola guys in that roster.
I like to think that the C in CJ is just Sig, right? It's like Sig James Turgeon.
You imagine that's what I mean. That now there's his nickname, Sig James.
No, like they call me Cigarette James. What's up?
Oh man, when he rolled out to the bucket during tryout smoking a cigarette, I mean, I think everybody just started laughing.
Oh, I mean, I think that was that.
I think everybody was like, "Wow, that guy is right up on my draft board."
He could have swung and missed. He could have swung and missed at every pitch, and he would have gotten drafted in the same spot.
Yeah, the next day he was like a 4th round pick.
Yeah,
he slid a little bit more on real draft day, but
I think something V did here in this draft that was great was nobody fucking even thought he was keeping Hayes until morning of when he put his keepers.
He kept that one close. I honestly don't know if he knew that if he was going to do that. So
he submitted his keepers at the Legion and then called and changed them on the ride to Kareem.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
What?
Sure did.
What?
That's allowed.
Prez.
That's allowed. That's allowed.
Oh.
It's allowed.
He
I thought you
told
said before we left the Legion.
Yeah, I heard that too. J-Ro, I was on the same page. I don't know.
Wow.
We're gonna allow it.
Already.
We're gonna
they
allow
did change though, right? Like I wasn't making that up.
As long as it was before the draft for him, I don't care.
Those are the keepers.
I agree.
When I left the Legion, those were the keepers he told me he was going to keep.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, he got out of his car and said, "I fucking told you I was keeping," and then it was different.
And what he said was wrong.
It was different than what he told me at the Legion.
So,
all right,
this team, I'm curious to see because I think it can go one of 2 ways. I think it can be a team that kind of finishes where they were last year, or not.
Mm-hmm.
True. I think exactly like what I was saying to your point, like of your team. Like I think he grabbed athletes, he grabbed people that he thinks he knows, like from the new player tryouts, and it could be like a lot of people that just try hard and want to win, or it could kind of crumble.
Well, fucking, we know how V is. Like V gets guys to play. Look,
he gets them going. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, hell, playing with him my first year in the league, he's a big part of why I'm where I'm at now. Like, yeah, V's a good coach. He coaches guys up.
Treats them like dogs with treats. He just gets Domino's every week, and he's like, "Here, come on."
I think this is another team that jumps out to you and where you say, whoever pitches for this team that's gonna determine how far they go. I think at this point, I think Joey's planning to pitch himself, or it could be Hollywood. But again, Joey pitched for us that year when we won the championship, but he didn't pitch at all during the season before that. He only pitched starting the playoffs. So another team pitching is going to be kind of something to keep an eye on over the course of the year.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely
has to be
something that's going to be.
Yeah.
I hear pitching's important.
Yeah, somewhat important in softball is what they tell me.
I've heard it once.
All right, so getting to the third coach that this was his first draft, the Palavicious team that some are referring to as King Cone. I hope that is the sponsor.
That'd be amazing if that was the sponsor.
I mean, it's a shame that they're such a legacy in the town of Merrimack. So we should have them as a sponsor. But what do you guys think about Kyle's first draft?
I think he did a fine job.
He did a great job.
Yeah,
I think he did too. I think that pick was.
If Campbell comes back healthy, that's a fucking huge pickup and a great 1 through 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Campbell's a wild card.
That pick he had was a tough pick.
Yep.
That first round pick, and then
he was a second rounder, so he didn't get to pick again until the third.
I think because you can't not take Pat. Pat's unbelievable. But then also on top of that, his availability, et cetera, he made everything work, and he's going to keep the value that he has and work with it from there. He has no reason not to.
Mm-hmm.
But
he has a shortstop, he has his pitcher, he has his outfield set. If Campbell comes back healthy, like he's in a good spot. I don't know if the depth is there, but I mean, but Artie, like, here's the other thing. You can put Artie on the mound. He was arguably the reason why we turned our season around last year was Artie pitching. And then you can put KP somewhere else.
KP can go back to the outfield.
Yeah, no problem. he has some options, but
I think KP's planning on playing the outfield.
I think he's planning to pitch.
Yeah, I think he's pitching until he wants to not.
He doesn't want to run.
He's got the ability to play the outfield. He's got the ability to pitch. He's got Pat and Brett to hold down the outfield. He's got Woj at shortstop. He's got George at third. So his left side of the infield's all set. His outfield's all set. His pitching is all set. And his power is all set. He's got Pat, George, and himself to hit the ball well. I think that's huge.
Yeah, he's got a balance.
And he's got Weston to play second base. Maybe kind of play second base, but he can hit the ball well in his flip-flops.
And he's got Woj, who's one of the better defensive infielders in the entire league.
I think they have probably the best outfielder in the league is Pat.
Yes. Yep.
Defensively, the best
outfielder in the league. Brett hear this then, please.
I was going to say, don't tell Brett.
I thought he meant Brett was the best outfielder in the league.
That's who I thought he was going with.
Yeah.
No. No offense to Belrose. Belrose is a great outfielder. Does a great job. Pat, the amount of balls that Pat robs in the gaps is just.
Right. Yeah, he gets great reads.
Pat's unreal.
He's got a cannon for an arm too.
Absolutely cannon for an arm. Great kid. Like I said, people said early in the tryout on Sunday, he was shagging balls over the fence, like going to through the woods to get fly balls. Pat's a good dude. He's a great outfielder.
No idiot. He was going to get home run balls like afterwards.
That's what I meant.
I didn't
mean robbing him. I mean, he's a good dude.
I think this is a team that can't play 5-man, though. This is a 4-man team throughout the year.
In terms of they don't have the infielders for it.
I don't think they have the infielders to play 5-man.
Yeah. No, I mean, Graham Mason's really good in the infield.
So I'm sorry. There's Graham Mason. Never mind.
He's really good in the infield. So is Woj.
I was going to say, I mean, they have George and Woj already on the left side. You throw someone at the middle. You have Pat in center field with Brett on left.
They could play 5-man.
They could definitely play.
I forgot about Graham Mason there. That's the problem.
Dustin just mentioned Tim Reel. I can't remember when he was drafted. Somebody else in the room was very upset that he was drafted.
Yeah, he was a steal.
Yes.
Sam was a steal. As soon as
I got plenty of texts about him pre-draft too.
Yeah, and I just seeing him at the draft, I was pretty high on him too.
Yeah.
All right.
Tim was a steal. Great.
Before we move on, I have to point out this is my favorite combo in the league: Doug LaRich and Tony Martineau. Man, they need a reality show. I think that's going to be awesome.
That could be the scariest combo in the league.
It could go so well, or it could go so poorly. I can't wait to see what happens.
Who can just say the more asinine shit? Dougie or softball Tony? Like that's what it's going to come down to.
Nobody can beat LaRich. Nobody can beat
I don't know.
LaRich.
Fucking Tony's going to try.
They're going to be a fantastic duo.
It's going to be amazing.
It's such a different tandem. It's oh God.
Last team here, which is hilariously sponsored by Phantom Gymnastics.
The most athletic part about this team is the name.
Yeah, this is the team that was formerly Holtz Auto. It is now Phantom Gymnastics. So this is Mitch's team, our last team to go through here. This is the team that won the Angelo sweepstakes. What do you guys think about this squad?
Just don't know how they ended up with Angelo, but anyways, I just hope for Angelo's sake they don't do as bad as I think they're going to do.
Okay.
Ooh. It sounds like we have an early toilet bowl prediction here.
Yeah. Toilet bowl.
Let's hold off. We got poll predictions later on.
Right.
No, I think Mitch came out of nowhere. I didn't think he really had anything up his sleeve going to the draft, and he clearly did. So
here was my issue, and I was texting Hilly at this point. I said, because I was trying to work a couple things with Dearborn, and I said, "Fuck, Mitch is with Dearborn." I went over to see Dearborn after, and Mitch had fucking what is it? The Perfect Mind, where it was just arrows going everywhere.
Beautiful mind.
Yeah. Just arrows going all over the place. I'm like, fuck, Mitch. This is what Mitch does to you. He just gets fucking chit chatting, and all of a sudden you don't know what pick you have anymore.
Mitch is one of those guys where he's offering me trades, and I'm like, I don't even think Mitch has this guy that he's trying to trade me right now. But no, I think he's got an interesting team. I'm not as low on this team as you guys are, clearly. I think they definitely have obviously probably the best player in the league on their team. Chris Pope is obviously a really good pitcher, really good player. I personally am not a huge fan of. I think Coochie got the better end of that TB and Zach Graham trade. But again, I think this is a team that I'm higher on than you guys are, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you can get the 1-1 on your team, obviously your team stock's going to go up. You still have, a fucking very good pitcher that can do a lot. You still have, and Mitch is on this team, who's a very good player.
Yeah, but I have the 1-1.
So you're still sitting there with he wasn't in the fucking draft, dummy. You're still sitting there with 3 very strong players to start your team with. Even with trading away Zach and TB.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious to see how this team works out. Like, you have a couple third basemen, you have a couple first basemen. You got Chad Lawrence, who I think is going to show up from the simulator, a couple times this year. Ryan Murray's probably underrated. So it's an interesting team. I'm curious to see how it works out. I'm really curious to see how it works out.
I agree.
And then you got Adam McQuaid, who just fucking crushes beers. Love McQuaid.
I heard Chambers tells me the scouting report on the guy at the bottom here, Wozniak. Heard he
crushes beers.
So,
well, him and fucking McQuaid are going to have a day together. Let me tell you that.
Love that. All right. So that is.
Can we not forget about their coach too with the crushing the beers? Or
no kidding. Mitch crushes at least 45 natter days before he even gets there.
I don't know, man. Mitch has been on the zero carb Bud Light kicks.
Allegedly.
Like too.
Well, speaking of crushing beers, I'm down to my 5th fucking Miller Lite. It's my last Miller Lite in my bucket, so we gotta fucking
we gotta
wrap this shit up. Because my beer is gonna be gone and I'm gonna be thirsty.
Yeah, so some great conversation here. Typically, this is not going to last an hour and 15 minutes, but obviously we had a lot to unpack.
This is longer than the podcast.
It's getting close. So let's wrap this up. I know originally I said let's name our top 5, but let's cut it to 3. So let's go around the horn. Give me your top 3 teams as of right now, top 3 power rankings, but also give me your bold prediction.
Right there, I'll throw it away.
Also give me your bold prediction for the so let's start with Cooch. Who are your top 3 teams, and then give me one bold prediction.
All right. My top 3, A&D, I think is hands down number 1. VFW. And then to be honest, I love the depth on Team VIP. I'm going with us on 3. And my bold prediction is that the winners from last year, Monahan, end up in the toilet bowl.
Okay.
I like
a bold prediction.
That's a nice one.
Betting against TA and Cooch. Now you're going to get absolutely annihilated on the Facebook all year. So
TA is a great guy. Really like TA, but it's my take on it. I'm sticking to it.
All right. So Cooch's were A&D 1, VFW 2, and then it was VIP 3, and his bold prediction was Monahan in the toilet bowl. J-Ro, on to you.
Oh, you fucker. Damn. So I'm going top 3 here.
Top 3 and a bold prediction.
Top 3 and a bold prediction. Jesus Christ, this is tough. You know what? Top 3, us. I'm going Peterson Painting, not just because I'm coaching them, but I'm actually been walking around with my chest out. I'm very, very happy with that. Top 3. So there's one. I'm taking the other finalist. I saw what TA can do. I think TA gets guys to buy in. I like the team, especially I think he has one of the top pitchers in the league with Hudon being full time. So we're going Hudon. We're going Monahan, Peterson, and I'm going to go to my rookie team. I'm going to go with Buckley Disposal in the other top 3 team here. So
love that.
That's what I'm going to do. And my hot take of the year. Oh, that's a tough one. Hot take of the year. I mean, it's not going to be a hot take. You know what? VFW is in the toilet bowl.
Wow.
Whoa.
I have to adjust. I'm gonna be honest with you, J-Ro. I have to adjust my hot take because that was gonna be my hot take. So I got to come up with a new one now.
Wow, I took yours. All right.
Yeah. So on to Cuck of the Year. What's your top 3 teams and your bold prediction?
Top 3. I'm gonna start off with myself. That's easy. A&D is definitely gonna be in the top. I think it's also going to be Cooch and KP for two brand new coaches.
Wow. Yep. The KP one, that could be also that could be your hot take. Like that's a hot take, and I like
it. I really do like it. I like his team. I like his team a lot. He's got balance through it. It's not like super depth, but you also have no idea like how these new players are going to come out. Like he has Timmy Real, and I really think Timmy Real is like the real deal, if you want to call it.
Oh boy.
You know
I do think they were going to be in my top 5, Colby, too. I think they're going to be good.
I think they're going to be good. And and then from there, I think my hot take is like you said, I could mix that into my hot take, but I think Buckley as an experienced coach, he's going to be in the toilet bowl.
Okay. All right. So J-Ro's got me in the
real deal,
3.
baby. He's here.
You got me in the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
I got VFW top 3. J-Ro's got him in the toilet bowl.
That's the beauty of the draft.
Sounds like you had 2 toilet bowl. You had 2 VFWs in the toilet bowl, but now Jim apparently has to rethink it. I think you just stay with your hot take.
I got to rethink it. I got a different one. It seems like all of the hot takes are toilet bowl takes at this point, but
I have another hot take, but I don't know.
So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go A&D in the top 3. I'm gonna take Buckley. All right, Wally, enough. I'm going to take Buckley in the top 3 as well. And then I think for my third team in the top 3, I'm going to go with Cooch. I'm going to go with Cooch's team. Actually, no, I'm not.
Actually,
no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with Phantom Gymnastics in the top 3.
Gymnastics.
I'm going to go with Phantom Gymnastics top 3, but then it's going to be weird. My new hot take is Angelo will not win the home run title. That's my hot take.
That's because you have Hamill on your team, you cheating prick.
No, I'm not saying who's going to win it. I'm just saying he is clearly the favorite to win it, and he's on a team where he's going to be able to swing for the fences every single time. But my hot take is going to be that Angelo does not lead the league in home runs.
Do we have any real quick? I know we're going to wrap this up soon. If Angelo doesn't win the home run title, this might. Who does?
Hamill, my guy.
Because Angelo missed a lot of games last year, and he still won it.
I could see.
Hud said that home runs per game he had the same amount.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, well, don't fucking listen to Hud.
VFW has way like VFW has a couple guys that could go for it.
VFW has some like Sean Rand could end up leading the league in home runs.
They basically did go for it last year. They were fucking out of home runs.
But they went it for as a team.
Yeah, they just run out of home runs every time. I could see. Let me see. What else we got here? I could see TB leading the league in home runs.
Yep.
I know he's not always a home run guy, but looking at your team, Cooch, like who else is going to hit home runs on this team?
Oh, I mean, he's going to be able to swing.
Right, he's going to be able to free swing. So if I had to pick one that's not named Angelo to win the home run title, I'm going to go with TB.
I could see Amadeus.
If you get those two, Amadeus could do it too. But if you get TB and Angelo going back,
Amadeus, J-Ro, I like that one.
Oh no, I don't want to stir the pot. I don't want to cause any rivalry here.
Here's
my god! Oh no!
You know, here was the initial hot take.
Dustin, swing away, baby. Dustin, go take
the initial hot take.
He's got to work on his co-ed swing. He's got to keep it in the park. Dustin's a big co-ed indoor player now. Nope. So
the initial hot take I was thinking until
last weekend and quit. I think at like 5 o'clock. Didn't he?
I missed him. I didn't see him there, but big
face off and decided it was time to go home to his kid. It's okay.
It was Sunday night, to be fair.
When you have a near-death experience, you go home.
My initial hot take was going to be 1 forfeit for the entire season.
Okay,
that's a hot take, and I like it. I think it's a good hot take.
That was my initial thought was 1 for the whole season, all 10 teams.
I hope it's less, but if you're right, I will be ecstatic if there's only one forfeit. Yeah. So, all right. Any parting thoughts here? Any Cooch, we're gonna have you back for sure. But thank you for joining us. Any parting thoughts before we go?
Good luck to all the coaches. I'm excited for this year. I can't wait to be like
this is really good. This is awesome. The draft was really fun.
Yeah, I agree. I hope Buckley does better than I golfed today. That's going to be my hope.
But the toilet bowl golf session.
Yeah, we did not reveal golf scores today, but I did beat Colby by 1, and we will not.
We will reveal them tomorrow when I beat you.
We will not reveal Jimmy's score.
Hey, it might be my best score ever. 118 might have been my best score ever.
And I'll take that. Good for you.
I've only played. That was the 7th time I've ever played.
Bring you down?
No, it's fine. And I didn't cheat either. Like, I didn't cheat. Like, so.
No,
Cooch is like, this is my second ball. I promise you. It's in the fairway.
I knew it. It wasn't in the fairway. It was actually in the hazard. But
yeah, that was a heck of a bounce off that rock. But
this is a softball podcast.
Yeah, that's true. But
oh my god, I can't believe this ball's over here by this fucking beautiful fairway.
J-Ro's ready to mute all 3 of us.
J-Ro's fiending Miller Lights right now. But
my guy is all-in shirt.
But
J-Ro, call me. I love you.
For everybody who listened, thank you. We appreciate it. Again, we'll be back on every Thursday night. We don't know who our special guest will be next week, but tune in to find out. Again, opening night, Merrimack League, Monday, May 2nd. The schedule, I will make and post the schedule on the website by the end of the weekend. But again, MerrimackDraftLeague.com. That's where we were sharing from earlier today. Go check out the rosters. And we'll be back next week.
Merrimack Minute is out.
The Merrimack 75 minutes.